What's going on, guys? I hope you're having a very nice day. Today we're going to be talking about a plant in particular that I think is really interesting and a lot of people like it. It's popular, so it's a nice thing to talk about. In the most traditional sense of the word, these aren't true bonsai. The Japanese don't use them as bonsai. If anything, they should be considered an accident plant. But still, you can get very, very showy results if you grow them with the principles of pruning and ramifying them as bonsai. And well, as you can see, I'm talking about the desert rose plant. It's the Adenium plant. And we're going to be working in Adenium Obesum and Adenium Arabicum. They're very similar, only a few differences, but they behave in almost the same way. Now, the thing about this plant is that you can, as you can see, you can cut, and the plant is going to start growing and growing. And even if you perform a very severe cut, that's going to be unnoticeable in a very, very short time. So, as you can see, this specimen right here, I started to grow as bonsai, shallow pot, nice nebari. Please ignore the Ethiopian daisy there. But we can see here that we've got a nice mass of foliage there, like a nice pad. And we want to continue to develop that. So how do we do that? We do that by cutting, right? By pruning and start to ramify in places where we want more foliage. So for example, here we can see how this was the original branch. I cut here and then I got new shoots. I kept this one, and this one. And so what I'm going to do now is cut. So I get new shoots and then I can select, new shoots from those. I can select the ones that I want, discard the ones that I don't want. Right? So it's fairly easy. Something else that I can see here and that you can see as well is this long branch. And again, if you've seen my videos with bonsai from scratch, you'll know that that is a sacrificial apex, right? That is a sacrificial apex that help us to thicken the trunk. I'm gonna place it there, so I can show you what I'm gonna do. Right, so it's very, very simple. Like I said before, I've already waited just until the end of the flowering season, and now I can prune. It's a very similar procedure with azaleas, the azalea plant. You wait until after it's flowered to transplant, to prune, and that just helps the plant not to be awfully stressed, produce flowers, and then while it has already spent all of that energy, then get a new procedure done on it. It's weakened after that. So we don't want that. We want the leaves to have fully developed, fully matured, so the plant is strong, and then we can cut, right? So I'm going to show you this right here. Here we have a very nice example. So this is something that we want to cut, right? That one right there. Okay, it's gone. But here I have two more little shoots that I'm going to leave because those aren't as bigger as the as the previous one. I have one here that it's nice and long. This is good, but I want more branches here, right? So this is definitely going. Not this one because it's rather weak. So look, here we have this little stop. If we leave that, chances are it's going to continue like that. No change for a couple of months. But if we cut, we have a better chance of getting new buds from there. Bye bye flowers. I'm sorry, this we're not going to touch. This is long. We can cut at this one. We continue on this section right here. And another good idea is to keep some of the old foliage, just so that we have places where hormones and nice surface area to collect energy from light are, is still found on the plant. This is super long and it's growing inside, so maybe I'm going to leave it there so we can cover the inside of the plant. There we go. So look at this one. You see how we have that sacrificial apex, but still we have another one that's elongating. Yeah, we don't want that. So we remove that again to get more shoots and to get more buds from that cut side. And if we don't do that, what would happen? I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay, but I think we're fairly done here. As you can see, yeah, this is strong and healthy. That's why I can get away with pruning all of this. And look, we got a little bit of a twin trunk going on here, so it's the same. We want to keep developing that. We cut. Yeah, I don't know if I should completely remove this Ethiopian daisy, but maybe in the future. That's pretty much it. Sacrificial apex untouched, and this little guy will develop nicely in the future. So as you can see, what it's doing is that it's growing to the sides, and that's good. Now in the future, what I want to is encourage the growth of new buds and new branches in this area. So maybe I can direct the cuts that way, so I make sure that new growth is growing in that direction. Okay, nice and varying. A very good thing about these plants is that you can, be very, very aggressive when it comes to cutting, and they won't know the difference. Look, here there used to be a huge hole, and now it's barely noticeable. Of course, you can see an indentation here in the main trunk, but when it comes to scars, it's just leaving this little thing behind that you can remove with your fingers, and that's it. Sorry about the camera, I just moved it with my finger. So that's pretty much it on this one. What would happen if we don't do this? I'm going to show you a short clip of another plant that's also growing in a pot, but one that has been left untouched. Yeah, no pruning, no nothing. So let's take a look. Super long branches that could have stayed very short and looked very tree-like if they had been cut at the right time. Anyway, that's not what we want, right? Okay, so let's go back. So, as you can see, pruning is very, very important for Adenium. Otherwise, they'll become leggy. And, well, if you want a plant that looks leggy, maybe your apartment is, needs a leggy plant or whatever. But, yeah. If you want a tree-looking plant, Adenium plant, well, you have to prune them. And that's exactly what I want. As you can see, this one, it's an Adenium as well, but this is an Adenium Arabicum, right? And I'm growing it in a colander. This is actually from seed. This is a couple of years old. And what I'm going to do is the same thing. As you can see, the leaves have already matured. The flowers are no longer on the plant. In fact, you can see right here, there's a little flower bud, or what's left of a flower bud after, it got rid of all of its flowers. And same thing, we're going to do the same. So don't be afraid of being very drastic when it comes to new growth, because, as I said, if your plants are healthy, they won't notice the difference. These plants are very, very used to animals or the wind or passing people, just grabbing a little piece and breaking it. So that's why they behave so well when you prune them. And the last one, it's over there. So I'm gonna move the camera a little bit, and that's the last one that we're gonna prune today, and then we're gonna come back to the table to show you something else. So let's go over there. So this will be the last one for today. Again, is an Adenium Arabicum. You can see here the little flower. It's a little bit different than Adenium Obesum, right? It's kind of nice. And as you can see here, well, I performed a little bit of lumberjack operation on it. But if you notice, this is what these cuts look like in the future. You can see this is a huge potato, right? It looks like a tumor. Maybe I should name it tumor. But yeah, it's growing and growing. So the same thing, I want it to look tree-like that tree of life that you can find on Avatar or, Walt Disney World. And it'll be kind of cool in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and remove excess foliage and excess when it comes to length. So this huge thing, maybe I'm going to leave it a sacrificial apex, and I'm going to leave this so it can bigerize. This one I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm going to leave this to grow a little bit more. That one, and this one, yes, I'm going to cut here. Okay, maybe this one a little bit more. And right now, right from the get-go, you can see that a little bit of an outline of what I want, it's starting to form, right? So, for example, if I were to get new foliage from this side and use this as an apex, you see what I'm trying to do? If you look at my finger, this is what I'm trying to do. This one right here, like this, and we finish here. Right? Who needs CGI? So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And it's, as you can see, these are very, very powerful and fast growing plants. So if you want to start them, you can buy a seedling or you can buy seeds. Actually, this one and that one, these are from seed. They're actually the same age, but this one I transplanted it to a bigger container. They're growing in CLI, but any well-draining soil will do. Fertilize heavily, and you will get a huge potato like this one in a couple of years. Okay, so the last thing, we're going to go back to the tip, and I'm going to show you how you can start one using a seedling. What do you want to do first? Okay, so let's go over there. So here we have a little seedling. This is actually started by me from seed as well. I just recently transplanted them to these individual little pots just because I wanted to sell them. I'm not sure if I'm going to sell them, but if I do, well, like Bob Ross said, it's a good way to make a quick, happy little buck in your pocket. So look, this is what I did. If you grow these from seed, what's going to happen is that you're going to get this little stalk right here. But you're also going to notice when you, rip them, when you just take them out of the soil, that it's a huge tuber-like formation is going to be growing like this. Yeah. So what some people do is that they cut it completely, and that's something similar to what I did. Okay, I'm just going to remove the soil for a little bit so you can see. And you can see that operation and the results of that operation. Let me just get a little bit of water so we can see better. Wash the roots. There we go. Okay, so as you can see here, that's the cut side. A lot of people like to use honey, or they like to use cinnamon, just to keep these little guys from rotting. But still, you could just very well cut them and just place them on the ground. If you overwater, you run the risk of actually getting root rot and caudex. This is the caudex rot. But if you water, normally, you shouldn't have a problem. So as we can see, this is what we want, right? This is what we want right here. A flaring root mass. It flares out, and that's just going to help us to get that wide base, that super wide base that looks like a tumor, like that one over there. So that's what we do first. Remember, this is not naturally how you will find them after you take them out of the soil. You will see that they're growing like this, like a huge carrot. So you want to go ahead and remove that. It will be better if you do this in the early stages of development, because if you don't, what's going to happen is that, like I said, that carrot-like growth of the root mass is still going to be there, and is going to be gaining vigor and strength. And when you want to do something, well, it's going to be much more aggressive for the plant, for the little plant. This is actually what's going to happen when I take this out of this little container, out of this little colander. When I take this out, actually you can see that, right? You can see how it's just going downwards. You don't see the roots. You don't see nothing because it's just growing downwards. The roots are somewhere over here. But still, I'm just going to find, look at this. I got to change to colander. Something kind of like this, right? A huge growth of this little tuber, this little potato. You can see the cut size here. These are fairly recent, and you can see how they're healing. Okay, so after this mess, after all of this information, I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions, if you have any doubts, anything, I'll be happy to answer them. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.